Eighth grade, Catlin here with your help for lesson 11 for your eighth grade math homework this week. Um, which cylinder is which in this cool down based on their slopes? So, in class today, we looked at how the slope in this type of relationship between volume and height on a cylinder, how the slope can indicate the width of that particular cylinder. All right. And what we discovered, all right, before we even get into this question, what we discovered is that when the slope is steeper, then that means that the cylinder is more narrow because let me draw just kind of a picture of two cylinders. So, like, here's a narrow cylinder, all right, with a certain height. And here is a cylinder that's a little wider. Okay. So imagine you were filling these cylinders up with water. Okay. And you're talking about the height of where the water is at as you're filling it up. Okay. And let's say the height is here. Now, is it going to take more water to get to that height for this cylinder or more water to get to that height for this cylinder? Well, it's going to take more water to get to that height for this cylinder because as you add water, there's more space for it to fill up. So it's not going to rise in the height department as quickly as you add the same amount of volume as it does over here. So, narrower cylinders, as you pour water into them in volume, are going to shoot up in height faster. Okay. So, in this particular case, this dotted line, this matches more like uh, A, right? Because it's going up faster. And that means that B does a better job of matching with this one because it's going to be filling up slower on the height department because the water is just going to it's got more space to fill out. So let's read the question now that we understand that concept. Two cylinders A and B each started with different amounts of water. And it doesn't matter where they start. Okay, this one started a little higher, this one started a little lower. They're going to cross at some point, so the starting point doesn't matter. We're really focusing on the slope here. The graph shows how the height of the water changed as volume of water increased, like we talked about. Which cylinder has a larger radius? Okay, larger radius. Okay, let's talk about radius review real quick. The radius of this cylinder would be that green line, distance from the center of the circle to the edge. The radius of this one would be from center to the edge. So the wider the cylinder, the greater the radius. The more narrow the cylinder, the lower the radius. So which cylinder has the larger radius? Well, the cylinder that's going to have a larger width is going to be the one with the lower slope. So this would be which cylinder? We're going to say cylinder B because its slope is lower and lower slope. When you have a lower slope in a graph like this, represents a wider cylinder with a larger radius. There's my explanation. All right. So whenever we have that more shallow of a slope there, we see that we're going to have a wider cylinder because the height's not going to go up as fast on the water level. And that leads us to believe that it's got a larger radius. And that's how we know. And that's your homework help for today. Hope it was helpful. See you guys tomorrow in class.